to our games. This weather has really wreaked havoc on the tournament here at Southeast, but we're finally in full swing of things. The weather looks good ahead, so we should finish this tournament up Saturday now. Both boys and girls will play tomorrow night. Well, we already know the times. It's 4 o'clock for the girls, 5:30 for the boys tomorrow night. Just depends on who the girls' opponent will be, as well as the girls will play here in this new gym at 4 o'clock. And I lost it. All right. Well, welcome back. We're having a little cell phone trouble here. We got along good last night. We'll see how we get along here tonight. We may have to switch telephones here in a little bit if we keep losing calls. But either way, St. Paul comes in tonight in this boys' game as a 4 seed. Parsons is a 5 seed, and this was supposed to be played Tuesday at 4 o'clock. And here we are Thursday at 4 o'clock, Mike, and just get it underway.
Yeah, the nice thing is, like you said, the weather's starting to cooperate a little bit. Hopefully it's going to keep warming up for a couple of days, give us a break from that hard cold and all the snow. But regardless, it's a good tournament down here at Southeast. Last night the girls came down and took care of business, beat Columbus, a pretty good Columbus team, made a statement for St. Paul. Boys are looking to do the same thing tonight against this Parsons Vikings team. All reports indicate that the boys got their hands full and their work cut out for them. However, I think if they can play together as a team and overcome a few of these mental mistakes that they've been making once in a while earlier in the season, I think they'll be able to give them a game tonight.
Should be a good competitive game, we hope, here tonight as St. Paul takes on Parsons, the 4 versus the 5. As Mike said, the St. Paul girls played last night, come out with a nice victory over Columbus, 58-34. They move to tomorrow night's semifinal game versus the winner of Parsons and Baxter Springs, who plays right after this game. I think they moved the girls, most of the girls, all the other girls' first-round games was last night. They must have moved the Parsons girls to tonight so they could follow with the boys and play at the same time. So they will play at 5:30 right here following the boys. So we'll see how that turns out. So St. Paul will play the winner of Parsons and Baxter Springs tomorrow night at 4 p.m. On the opposite side of the bracket, Jayhawk Lynn girls took care of Southeast. So they moved to the winner's side of the bracket. They play Friday, 7 o'clock. Their opponent will be Pierce City. Pierce City, the 6th seed, upended Erie last night. So Pierce City moves on to the semifinals versus Jayhawk Lynn. And then on the loser side of the bracket, Southeast and Erie will face off tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in the West Gym. There's 2 gyms here in Southeast, and they will both get utilized heavily in the next couple days, Mike.
One thing about it, there's not going to be any shortage of basketball to watch. If you're a basketball fan and anywhere close to Cherokee, Kansas, you can come out here and see all the basketball you could possibly want to see in the next 3 days for sure. And hopefully St. Paul's going to be able to come out here and put on a show and end up in the later games on Saturday playing for the championship.
You're listening to the Ritchie's Pharmacy pregame show, and our title sponsor tonight and every night is Farmers Bank there in St. Paul, Hepler, and Walnut. Our tip-off sponsor will be Styles Fitness and More. Timeout sponsors will be brought to you tonight by St. Paul Supermarket. Our halftime show will be brought to you by St. Paul Tire and Lube, and our postgame show will be brought to you by KW Trucking. Player of the game is Derailed Commodity. We're going to be back with starting lineups after this 1-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. What's that? Okay. I'm gonna hang up and call you back, okay? All right, can you hear me? This is Dan.
Okay.
All right. Hey, you're gonna have to text Mike if we go off the air, okay? You're gonna have. Let me turn something down. You're gonna have to text Mike's phone if we go off the air. All right, thanks.
We're probably going to come back just in time for the national anthem.
We'll see what happens here. Well, welcome back to Southeast High School, where we're getting ready for our Styles Fitness and More tip-off between St. Paul and Parsons, as we are just about to get underway here in this Lancer tournament on the boys' side of the bracket. For the starters for the Indians, Kenny Haney, Brendan Doherty, Caleb Pekka, Braven Bourne, and who else is out there, Mike? Caleb Lemons is out there for the Indians. For the Vikings, Derek Williams, Daquan Johnson, Ezekiel Lyons, Devontae Yates, and Joel Scheibe. Parsons, a very young team, all underclassmen on the floor, just one senior on the roster. The rest are sophomores and juniors. So we get set here. Devontae Yates set to tip off against Kenny Haney. And here's a tip, and Haney controls the tip for the Indians. Down to Lemons, man-to-man defense applied by the Vikings as Lemons out front sets it up, swings it over to the right guard, Haney, back up top to Pekka, now back to Lemons at left side. Bourne at the top of the key swings it to Pekka as the Indians run this motion offense against the Vikings man-to-man. Haney, three-point shot, left wing, too hard, no good, rebound Vikings. Williams with the basketball for the Lions. Now a three-pointer from the right baseline. Good by Ezekiel Lyons. So Indians 0 for 1 for three-point land. And the Vikings 1 for 1. The Bourne comes back down with it. Gets it to Lemons. Lemons open 13-footer off. No good. Haney with the rebound. Put back. No good. Lemons chases it down. Now Caleb Pekka with it. Feeds it back to Lemons. Standing right next to Brendan Doherty. Vikings lead 3-0. Early on here in the first quarter. Just underway here. Bourne with the basketball to Haney. The Lemons back to Pekka. Now Doherty with it. He's guarded by Johnson. Doherty with a couple ball fakes. Drives into the lane. Tries to split the defender. He's going to get fouled as he goes to the rim. It's going to be on the floor. So it's going to be Indians basketball under their own basket. Vikings lead 3-0. 6:40 left to go here in the first quarter. Pekka with the basketball. Gets it in to Kenny Haney. He's guarded by Yates. Now Bourne with a ball fake. He's going to get called for the travel as he dribbled to his left. So it'll be Vikings basketball off the Indian turnover. Williams with the basketball. Feeds it into Lyons. Back to Williams. Lyons tries to feed it inside, gets it in, tapped away for a minute by the Indians. Joel Scheibe, three-pointer left side, in and out, no good. Rebound, and that's going to be Yates, and he's going to be fouled by Haney. Haney with position, but Yates got the ball over the top of him. Yates will go to the line to shoot two. Vikings lead 3-0, 6:20 left to go here in the first. Yates at the line to shoot two. First shot's on its way and off, no good. Score stays 3-0. Vikings lead. Yates settles in for the second. It's on its way. It's short, no good. Haney with the rebound. He feeds it off to Doherty. Doherty about to lose the handle. Now Doherty down to the baseline. Tries to drive the baseline. Double team down. He's going to be fouled in the corner, either by Yates or Williams. We'll see who the foul is on the Vikings. Second team foul. It's going to be on Yates. First on him. Indians basketball on the sideline. They trail 3-0. Pekka trying to find and gets it into Lemons. Now bounce pass back over to Pekka. He drives against Scheibe. Ball fake, hands it off to Doherty. Doherty loses it. The ball's on the floor. Vikings come up with it. Doherty tries to poke it away from Yates. Yates down the floor. Three-pointer from the right side. Off the rim, no good. They get it back to Williams as he dribbles top of the key to set it up. Reverses it to Scheibe. Turnaround hook shot off the rim, no good. Doherty with the rebound. Doherty streaks down the center of the floor, kicks it out to Lemons. Three-pointer on the way by Lemons. Off the rim, no good. Rebound, Williams. Williams streaks down the floor. Could have been a carry. Reverse layup is good by Williams. No carry called as he looked like he was going to try to dish it off to Scheibe.
Pretty quick pace here by both teams early on.
5-0. Vikings lead. Indians can't connect on offense. Caleb Pekka on the baseline. Tries against Williams. Dribbles back up towards the top of the keys. Double teamed out there. Now he's in a bit of trouble. Gets it off to Bourne. Bourne to the basket right in front of the rim. He misses it short. Back down comes Johnson, streaking down the floor. Pulls outside the three-point line. Now to the basket he goes. He misses. Now the follow-up by Yates is good. The Indians not doing a good job on the boards, giving the Vikings too many chances at it. Now Lemons is trapped down on our end, or on the Indians' end of the court. I get it ahead to Bourne, now out to Pekka. 7-0. Vikings out to an early lead against the Indians. The Indians aren't going to be able to afford to dig much of a hole here. Need to get it going on offense. Kenny Haney with the ball on the left side, swings it out top to Pekka. Now a steal, bad pass by Pekka. He telegraphed it the whole way, and Johnson converts and timeout St. Paul. 30-second timeout by Parsons. We'll go ahead and stay here. 9-0, early lead for Parsons, Mike.
Yeah, Parsons really got a lot of speed. You can see that on the team, and they take advantage of those quick breakaways. They get a couple of turnovers there and made St. Paul pay with the easy layups. St. Paul, on the other hand, trying to get up their offense set up, running a little bit different than what we've seen. A lot of times they'll bring the ball down and pull up and shoot, but they've been working really hard trying to get something set up on offense and haven't had a lot of luck. Got a couple good looks from outside, just couldn't get them to fall.
Vikings out to 9-0 lead over the Indians. They're hitting and the Indians aren't. Indians have some shot at it. The Vikings out rebounding the Indians so far in the game, as the Vikings like to press full court, have a lot of guys on the Indian side of the half court. If the Indians can break this, Lode Holtz and Pierce is in the game for the Vikings. Bourne with the basketball. Dribbles to the corner, and it's going to be a steal for Parsons. He feeds it to Pierce. Layup good. Doherty feeds it to Bourne. Bourne's trapped in the corner, and that's going to be a block on the Vikings as Bourne comes out of there hobbling just a little bit. 11-0. Vikings lead. 4:02 left to go here in the first. The Vikings retreat into their man-to-man defense. Bourne shot from the elbow, well short, no good. Doherty with the rebound, put back no good, but he's going to go to the line to shoot two. Wolgamont into the game for the Vikings, too. Number 32, a junior. So Doherty will get the chance to break the ice on the Indians' side with first points of the game for the Indians. His first shot's on the way, off, no good. As Anthony Albertini checks in for Kenny Haney, as well as Johnson checks back in for the Vikings. 3:50 left to go in the first. 11-0 Vikings lead, off to a very hot, fast start. The Indians cold as ice so far from the outside. We've seen this before, where the Indians just can't get anything going, and Doherty misses both of his free throws. Down to the corner is Pierce with the basketball, picked out by Lemons. Zone applied by the Indians now, and it's going to be a travel on Scheibe. Turnover on the Vikings gives it back to the Indians.
That's where St. Paul needs to take advantage and come out here and score some points off of these turnovers.
Adam Albertini checks back into the game for the Indians. Bourne with the basketball, feeds it back to Doherty. Doherty crosses half court, breaks the press, feeds it back to Bourne above the timeline. Over to Pekka to right wing. He's guarded out there by Lodeholtz. Pekka over to Bourne. Bourne's guarded by Pierce. Back up top to Adam Albertini. Drives towards the elbow, kicks it out to Bourne. Step back three-pointer by Bourne. Off the rim, no good. Wogemont traveled, but no call. Scheibe tries to feed ahead to Lodeholtz, and it's over his head and out of bounds. Turnover on the Vikings as Rhodey, the senior, the lone senior, checks in for the Vikings. So a lot of subs for the Vikings. Indians. Adam Albertini's come in the game as well as Anthony Albertini. So Indians still stuck on 0, 11-0. Vikings lead, a feed ahead turnover by Albertini. And that's going to be a steal by the Indians. Now Pekka all the way down, a layup, good. Reverse layup. And looks like Bourne
might have tweaked that. He's holding his wrist, maybe.
Bourne on that steal tweaked his wrist a little. So Lemons comes in, looks to be a left. Looks like he hurt his left wrist a little bit as he's writhing in pain on the bench. Hope he's okay. As 2-3 zone applied by the Indians. First time we've seen that this year, Mike. Over to the left wing is Johnson with the basketball. And that could have been another walk on Wogemont, but no call. Lodeholtz, that could have been a carry. No call. So there's like 2 or 3 turnovers in that possession by the Vikings, and the Indians can't get a call. 13-2. 11-point lead. Now Lemons at right wing with it as Doherty breaks press. Three-pointer by Lemons, no good. Rebound, Johnson. No rebounders in there for the Indians. Bounce pass the head to Wogemont, and his layup is good. Doherty gets it back to Pekka. Up to Albertini. Over to Anthony Albertini, up to Pekka. Pekka into the lane, feeds it out to Adam Albertini. 3-point by him on the way, off the rim, no good. Rebound chased down by Pekka. Long three-pointer by Doherty, off the rim, no good. The Indians' cold shooting continues. Their shooting percentage is going to be ugly here in this first quarter. Lodeholtz three-pointer, no good. And it's going to be out on Parsons on Rhodey, and it'll go back to the Indians.
Both teams taking a lot of shots, a lot of them from outside. Parsons able to make some fall. St. Paul, just like you said, cold as ice from outside especially.
Haney checks back in for Anthony Albertini. 1:44 left to go in the first. 15-2. Vikings up by 13. Indians have not made one field goal from the field. Good backdoor cut by Pekka. Good move by him. And a layup on the right side. Good feed from Adam Albertini. 15-4. Lodeholtz with the ball at the right wing. Swings it across to Scheibe. Scheibe pass inside the Lodeholtz. Into the lane. Stripped away by Pekka. Pekka on the breakaway and makes the layup. And timeout by Coach Watrick. So the Indians get a little bit going here. 15-6. Cut the lead to 9 by the Vikings. 1:15 left to go in the first. So we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul Indian basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Lancer Classic. We're early on here. 1:15 left to go here in the first quarter. Parsons leads St. Paul 15-6. Parsons will have possession of the basketball out of the Indian timeout off the score by Pekka. Williams set to put the ball in play to Lyons. Lyons, Johnson, Williams are all sophomores for the Vikings. Scheibe's in the game. He's a junior. Lodeholtz is a junior also. Reek Williams with the basketball, feeds it off to the Lions, gets around Albertini, feeds it out to Scheibe. Three-pointer on the way, no good. Long rebound, Adam Albertini. Albertini into the elbow, gets it out to Doherty. Three-point shot by him, left wing, off the rim, no good. Reek Williams with the rebound. Tries to feed it ahead, stolen out of there by Doherty. Doherty with a little floater in front of the rim. He can't get it to go. Tipped around, Haney gets it back, and he converts. 15-8, 7-point lead for the Vikings. Feed ahead, Lions, three-pointer, left wing, high off the rim, no good. Pekka with the rebound. He feeds it ahead to Albertini. Albertini's layup, good. Indians making a nice little run here. 15-10, 5-point lead for the Vikings. Right back down comes Yates with the basketball, no good. Haney with the rebound. He gets hammered, but nobody calls it. He ends up on the floor. Now Doherty all the way down, feeds it to Pekka, and it's going to be a block on Williams as Doherty and Williams collide hard under the Indian basket. Doherty looked to have a chance at a layup, fed it to the weak side, I believe, to Pekka. So it'll be Indians basketball under their own rim. Fourth team foul, fifth on the Vikings. First on William as Wolgamont comes in for Lodholtz. Pekka under their own basket with the basketball as they get set to get the ball in, and finally gets it in, and it's a steal by Williams and a bad pass. Now fed ahead is Albertini, and a little alley-oop back to Williams and a dunk by him. And another steal by the Vikings against Pekka, and layup is good at the buzzer. So that's just how quick Parsons can score, as 4 points in about the last 10 seconds. 19-10, Vikings up by 9 after the first quarter. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout. That's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Parsons up by 9. They scored 2 buckets back-to-back in about 10 seconds to end that first quarter as Scheibe gets a little floater to go. Now the Vikings up by 11. Too many turnovers. A feed ahead to Haney. Haney into the lane. A little floater, no good. Tipped around and controlled out there by Lyons. Feeds it ahead to Scheibe. Scheibe's layup, no good. Put back Williams. And almost a steal again by the Vikings. There's Coach Wartrick wanting a foul, something fierce down here, but can't get a call. 23-10, Vikings up by 13. Indians cut into that lead down to 5, but when they let Parsons get on the run at the end of the first quarter, they've started the second quarter on the same run. So full court press is causing the Indians trouble. There's a lot of turnovers off of it against a very athletic Parsons team. Feet ahead now. Adam Albertini under their basket scores. That's the way you break that press. Make them get out of it by breaking it. Lyons with the basketball to the rim, jump stop, and he scores. Lemons with it, feeds it ahead to Doherty. Doherty against Scheibe, and it's going to be a foul on Scheibe. 16 foul on the Vikings, just 1 on the Indians. Doherty and Pekka has played a lot of minutes here in the first quarter, with Bourne having to go to the bench with a wrist injury in that first quarter. He's yet to check back in. Pekka with the basketball, and that's going to be 5-second call as Pekka unable to get the ball in. Nobody really moving, trying to get the ball in. And Indians can ill afford to have any turnovers against this Parsons team. 7:01 left to go in the second, 25-12. Vikings up by 13. Williams with the basketball. Feeds it off the Lions. Three-pointer, right wing, off short. Doherty with the rebound. Doherty works the ball ahead at the right wing. Poked away. And almost a steal by Yates. Pekka gets it back, and he feeds it way over the head of Haney, about 3 foot over his head, and here's Bourne back in the game, so that's a good sign for the Indians. He comes in for Lemons.
Got his right thumb taped up. Looks like maybe he got it jammed on that possession.
6:35 left to go in the second, 25-12. Indians need to clean it up on offense, cut down on the turnovers. Scheibe with the basketball. The load holds over to Wolgamont. Like he traveled, no call. Scheibe again with it, drives into the lane, little floater in front of the rim, good. Joel Scheibe with a good move in there, gets a score, gives them 15-point Viking lead. Bourne with the basketball now. Crosses the timeline. 15-point lead for the Vikings, 27-12. Bourne towards the rim. Floater in front of the rim, no good. Put back by Pekka is good. Good rebound by Kayla Pekka. Load holds right back down for the Vikings. They don't waste no time getting the basketball down. Now Lions shot from the free throw line, no good. Rebound Pekka. Pekka pushes the ball back across, gets it to Doherty, over to Adam Albertini. Three-point shot, left baseline, good by Albertini. Right back down comes the Vikings. Not hardly a time to take a breath here, Mike. Scheibe, three-point shot of his own, short. No rebounders for the Indians, and now they fight for a rebound on the putback. Loadholtz comes out there with it. Into the lane he goes. Up and under, no good. Ball's loose on the floor. Vikings lose it. It's going to be out on the Vikings. And it'll go back to the Indians. 27-17, 10-point lead for the Vikings. It's back and forth we go.
Boy, it's a fast pace on both ends of the floor.
Pekka with the basketball. Feeds it into Bourne. Now a little, not so much full court pressure. Man-to-man full court, but they stay just on their man, no trap. Pekka against Scheibe. Feeds it ahead to Albertini. Albertini kicks it back to Pekka at the right wing, out to Doherty, up by the timeline. He's guarded by Loadholtz. Like to see him get on the post against Loadholtz. Feeds it to the corner to Albertini. A bad pass by Albertini, tipped and stolen by Loadholtz. Loadholtz feeds it ahead and stolen by Haney. Haney feeds it back to Doherty. Indians got 3-on-1. Pekka on the weak side gets the score. 27-19, 8-point lead for the Vikings. 4:41 left to go in the second. Scheibe, top of the key, three-pointer off, no good. Haney with the rebound. 27-19. Albertini with the basketball, kicks it back out to Doherty. Long three-pointer by Brendan Doherty, off the rim, no good. Rebound, Johnson. Johnson in front of the rim, floater, short, no good. Gets his own rebound, put back, good. Indians
got to do a better job.
Doherty was down there into the basket, no block out, and let Johnson have a second chance at it. 29-19. Vikings up by 10. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Welcome back to the Lancer Classic, where the Viking boys lead the Indians 29-19. 4:17 left to go here in the second quarter. Timeout by Parsons. Very fast-paced game here, Mike.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's back and forth. Parsons got the hot hand on the shooting, and they're really making a heavy pace for St. Paul to keep up with. St. Paul, biggest problem, they haven't been able to get any rebounds offensively or defensively. Parsons had a couple follow-up shots of their own and able to put some points on the board based on the second or third rebound.
Trevor Strathy in the game for the first time for the Vikings tonight. Now the Vikings set back up into their trap. Full court pressure. Back to Pekka. Pekka tries to feed it, and he's going to be fouled by Wogamont as he tried to feed it on the weak side to Haney. If the Indians can get past that press, they got some numbers down under the basket. And that's going to be a 1-and-1 as Pekka is going to shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. 7th team foul on the Vikings, 2nd on Wogamont, as Williams and Yates check back into the game for Scheibe and Wogamont. Scheibe coming out of the game for the first time here tonight. Caleb Pekka lines up for his first front end of the 1-and-1. Gets the roll over the front of the rim. It's good. 29-20. 4:06 left to go before half. Pekka lines up for his second. It's on its way, and he gets it over the front of the rim, and it goes. 8-point lead for the Vikings. Williams with the basketball. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians. First time we've seen that tonight. And about the first time they've had a chance set up in their half court. Blocked by Haney. That sounded like all basketball, but he's going to get him with the body. It wasn't no slap. It sounded like all ball on the shot attempt by Johnson, but they're going to send him to the line to shoot two.
Yeah, that's the only thing I figure is they got him with the body is what they're seeing maybe.
Johnson goes the line, lines up, and rattles the first one home. Back up to a 9-point lead as Lyons checks back in for the Vikings. Checks in for Pierce. Johnson lines up for his second. It's on its way and good. That lets the Vikings set up in their press. Bounce pass into Bourne. Down to the corner, and we're going to lose it out of bounds. It's going to be off the Indians, off Albertini, as Bourne got trapped into the corner, had no place to go. Very aggressive Vikings trap is wreaking havoc on the Indians. 31-21, 10-point lead for the Vikings. Williams with the basketball, feeds it over to Johnson, back up top to Williams. Man-to-man. Applied by the Indians. Now to Johnson. Johnson into the lane. Floater in front of the rim. No good. Haney with the rebound. Haney feeds it ahead to Albertini. Albertini loses it for a minute. Gets it across the court to Lemons. Now back to Pekka. Over to Adam Albertini. Drives the baseline. Goes to the backside. Bourne, a little 15-footer. Off the rim. No good. Rebound Parsons. Feed ahead to Yates. Layup good. Lemons went for the steal instead of the block. Bourne with it. 3 Vikings down there. A lot of hands everywhere. Nobody calls anything. Pekka gets the layup on the good press break by the Indians. Lemons almost comes up with the steal. Williams between the legs into the rim. Kicks it out. 3-pointer on the way from the right wing. No good. Haney with the rebound. 33-23. 10-point lead for the Vikings. Now Pekka with the basketball. Dribbles out to the right wing. Looking inside, gets it into Haney. Haney, little turnaround, no good. Rebound, Johnson tries to feed it ahead and does get it to Lyons. Lyons layup good. Indians with a couple opportunities for a steal. Timeout, Indians. Coach Watrick, the referee is standing about 2 foot from him. And Coach Watrick called a timeout, looked at him like, are you going to blow the whistle and stop the clock or not? 35-23, 12-point lead for the Vikings. 2:11 left to go here before half. Boy, the Indians, they crawl back in it just a little bit, get it down into single-digit lead, and then here comes Parsons right back, and they can score in a hurry. So the Indians are going to have to get back on defense, take care of the basketball. They're just not, when they're aggressive against that press, they're doing a pretty good job of breaking that press, getting some good looks at the basket. They let that athletic triple team get on them, and it's hard to get out of that triple team and find somebody open.
Yeah, the Indians are doing a lot of work out on the court. They're just not coming out with anything to show for it.
2:11 left to go here in the second quarter. 35-23, 12-point lead for the Vikings. Is out of that timeout. It gives the Vikings a chance to set up in that press. A little 3-2 press, trap press. Bourne cut off. Now he comes down and gets it ahead to Doherty. Doherty between the legs, dribble. Over to Haney. Haney, three-point shot from the right side. Off the rim, high, no good. Rebound Lions for the Vikings, and he loses it out of bounds, so it's going to be a turnover on him. Give it back to the Indians. Indians going to have to get some of them shots to start going, getting some good looks outside the arc, just not getting very many of them to go. Albertini with the basketball. Adam Albertini feeds it to Haney, now gives it to Doherty. Doherty with a couple ball fakes, spin move, floater, off the rim, no good. Rebound Yates. Steal by Doherty, layup, good. Good steal by Doherty, good quick hands. Got it away from Yates. Yates back down with the basketball, picked up out there by Haney, right to the rim he goes. Floater, good. Nobody stops him, and he scores. Yates with quick hands knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with the Indians, 37-25, 12-point lead for the Vikings. 1:20 left to go here in the second quarter. 12-point lead for the Vikings. Bourne with the basketball. Guarded out there by Williams. He breaks it. Now shot from the elbow by Bourne. Long, no good. Williams with the rebound. Williams comes streaking back down. Behind the back dribble. Behind the back pass into Scheibe. Blocked by Doherty. Now his putback is good by Scheibe. Indians just can't get a rebound. And a steal by the Vikings off of Doherty. Layup good. Lemons with the basketball. Behind the back dribble by him. He breaks the press. 41-25. All of a sudden a 16-point lead for the Vikings. And another almost a steal. Albertini comes out of there with it. Gets it back to Haney. Haney swings it over to Lemons. Lemons in the lane. Floater with his left hand. Good shot. Tough shot by Lemons. Gets it to go. 41-27. 16 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Williams way up above the timeline. Here he comes. 7 seconds. Stops. Kicks it out to Yates. And it's going to be a foul on Haney. Looked like all ball again, but with 2.8 left, Yates is going to go to the line to shoot two. We call that on Haney, his third, and he has all three of the Indians' fouls here in the first half. Yates lines up for two shots, 2.8 seconds left to go as he misses the first. Yates settles in for his second. 2.8 left to go here in the first half. 41-27 Vikings lead as he makes his second. Indians need to be careful here, not have a turnover. Bourne with the basketball. Half-court shot at the buzzer. Good! Brave and Bourne banks one in off the boards from past half court to cut her back to 12, 42-30. Stick around for our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back and welcome to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show. Dan Vitt alongside Mike McCracken. We're here at halftime. Parsons up by 12 over the Indians, 42-30 in a very fast-paced game, Mike.
Yeah, it's been really fast-paced for both teams. Parsons has just been on fire with their fast break offense and their full-court defense, really putting a lot of pressure on St. Paul. St. Paul doing their best to try and cut through that full-court press, but it's been a real challenge for them so far in the first half. We'll see if they can come out after halftime, make a few adjustments, and figure out a way to get past that press. But so far been pretty effective by the Parsons Vikings. The other thing that's been a big impact on the first half has been the ability of Parsons to convert on their shots and also follow their shots with rebounds offensively, also getting rebounds on the defensive boards. St. Paul, on the other hand, pretty cold, at least in the first quarter especially, not able to get it much to fall and having much luck. Started to warm up a little bit in the second quarter, but they really weren't able to follow themselves up. Couldn't get any offensive rebounds and definitely had problems down at the other end of the floor on the defense. Parsons moved the ball around a lot. When they did take a shot, they were following it in and getting their own rebounds.
The next teams out on the court warming up here at halftime is Pierce City and Columbus. Columbus out on the court warming up. Pierce City not out there during halftime. About 6 minutes left to go in the half, where Parsons leads 42-30 over the Indians, up by 12. If the Indians win, they advance tomorrow night at 5:30 here in the new gym. If they lose, they go to the West Gym, and if they lose, they play the loser between Pierce City and Columbus. If they win, they play the winner between Pierce City and Columbus. Pierce City, the number 1 seed, Columbus, the 8 seed. So on the bottom half of the bracket, the number 2 seed, Jayhawk Lynn, will play at 7 o'clock tonight versus Southeast. And then the last game of the night, number 3 seed Baxter Springs will play Erie at 8:30 here tonight. So a lot of action here in both gyms here at Southeast Cherokee. You know, as Mike said, if you want to watch some basketball, some good 1A through 4A basketball, just come to Cherokee, Kansas and Southeast High School. Come on in here and go to the West Gym or the East Gym, whichever you prefer. Girls, boys, all kinds of action tonight and tomorrow night.
Yeah, and if you're not able to make it out here, don't forget we got our live stream up on the internet on hot1055.net. We'll bring you the KKOY website, and from the website there'll be a St. Paul Indians banner. You click on that, it'll take you directly to the live stream on our YouTube channel. Pick that up online. If you're not able to make it to the game, you'll have full video and audio coverage of the game. Otherwise, stay with us here on the radio on 105.5 FM, and we'll bring you the rest of the game as we will the rest of the tournament.
Mike will be back with first half stats after this next 2-minute timeout. You're listening to St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back to our St. Paul Tire and Lube halftime show, where the Indians got some work to do here in the second half against a very good Parsons Vikings team. The Indians trail 42-30. Mike, what do you got for first half stats for the Indians?
Yeah, down 42-30. Could be worse. You know, St. Paul's been able to hold their own for the most part, especially later on in the second quarter. Started getting a little bit of things together and put some points on the board. Overall, for St. Paul, leading scorers, Caleb Pekka. If there is a bright spot in the first half for St. Paul scoring-wise, it's Caleb Pekka with 12 points. Matter of fact, Pekka's 100% shooting. He's got most of these inside feeds have been to Caleb, and so he's 5 for 5 from inside from the field on 2-pointers. Also made 2 for 2 on his free throws. So 12 points in the first half, Caleb Pekka, and hasn't missed a shot. So hopefully he'll keep that up and keep St. Paul getting some points here in the second half. Adam Albertini off the bench in the first half with 7 points. Adams 2 for 2 from the field, 1 for 2 from outside the three-point line. Braven Bourne with 3 points in the first half. He's 1 of 2 from outside the three-pointer, but he's 0 for 5 from the field so far. So Braven a little cold. Look for him to warm up as we get into the second half. Kenny Haney with 2, and Brendan Doherty has 4 for the Indians. Brendan's 2 for 3 from the field. He's 0 for 3 from outside the three-point line. Brendan usually a pretty good three-point shooter, so hopefully he'll be able to heat up in the second half and come alive. They get some three-point shots. St. Paul get back in this game. Caleb Lemons, I should say, has 2 points for the Indians. Shooting percentage-wise, overall in the first half, the boys, like you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, not really good percentage-wise. 40% from the field, only 18% from outside the three-point line. They're 50% from the free throw line. So St. Paul got a lot of improvement they can do if they can start making some shots.
Shooting percentage is one thing. It's not horrible. The stats that's going to stand out to me without even looking at your stat sheet, Mike, is the turnovers and the rebounds. I think the Indians have been out-rebounded and for sure have way too many turnovers there in that first half. So.
Yeah, and believe it or not, it came out in the first half, St. Paul with 12, Parsons with 8, so it was a little closer maybe than what it looked like it was, with only a 4 turnover difference. But every time I think the 4 turnover difference happened, Parsons was able to put points on the board.
They need to cut that turnover ratio down to about a third of that.
Yeah.
4 in this half. They are not going to be able to afford to turn over the basketball.
Nope.
But here we go, getting set for our second half tip-off. Easy for me to say. That timeout sponsor during halftime was brought to you by St. Paul Tire and Lube. Our timeout sponsors St. Paul Supermarket, our Styles Fitness and More tip-off. Indians are going to start with the basketball and get some shots on the other end of the court. So we'll see if the Indians can get something going here in the third quarter and try to cut into this 12-point Viking lead. Caleb Pekka with the basketball. Parsons comes out in a man-to-man. Kenny Haney starts the second half with 3 fouls. Only 3 team fouls in the first half on the Indians, all 3 on Haney. Lemon's three-point shot off, no good. Tipped up in the air and controlled by Parsons. 3-on-1, alley-oop into Yates, and the layup is good. Pekka with the basketball against Williams. Now he's going to be double-teamed. Tries behind-the-back dribble and has it stolen. That's twice he's done that. And Williams converts. Back up to a 16-point lead. And Doherty gets fouled by Scheibe. Caleb's tried that behind-the-back dribble, and he's got it stolen a couple times. Parsons on that double team. You can't dribble behind your back. The opposite side guy is going to get it every time. So hopefully Caleb figures that out here as Bourne with the basketball. 16-point lead for the Indians, so a good start for the Vikings in the second half. Not a good start for the Indians as Lemons was unable to convert from three-point land, and a couple quick baskets by Parsons. 46-30. Parsons up by 16. Lemons with the basketball, feeds it to Bourne, out top to Pekka, over to Doherty at right wing. Doherty guarded by Yates. Doherty held pretty quiet here in the first half. Lemons picks up his dribble, gets Doherty long three-pointer off, way off, no good. And Johnson with the rebound, feeds it ahead to Lyons. Lyons into the lane, and he's going to be fouled, and he's going to go to the line and shoot 2, and I think that's the 4th
Might
foul.
be on Haney.
On Haney. Indians pretty flat-footed here early on in this third quarter. And that is the 4th foul on Kenny Haney. And that brings Adam Albertini to the scores table as Lyons goes to the line to shoot 2. First shot by Lyons is right through there as Wolgamont comes in for Parsons for Yates, and Albertini comes in for Haney. Kenny Haney with 4 fouls. No other Indian with a foul in up to this point with 6:33 left to go here in the third. 47-30. Well, it's a 12-point lead. And he misses the second, so it stays up to a 17. So Vikings on a 5-0 run to start this third quarter here. Albertini shot from the free throw line off the backboard, no good. Rebound, absolutely no rebounding by the Indians. Now Williams all the way down, tries to dish it to Wolgamont, and it's stolen out there by Bourne. Lemons with the basketball, right wing, swings it over to Pekka. Back up top to Lemons, now over to Bourne. Don't do much good to have a mouthpiece if you're just going to have it stuck out of your mouth.
No, not doing a lot of good.
Lemons with the basketball as a Viking player's got a mouthpiece, but he's got it chewing on it, and that's going to be a steal. And now it's a 3-on-1 opportunity. Now Williams steps out at the three-point line, feeds it over to Scheibe. Three-point shot by him. Good. As Joel Scheibe finally connects from the outside. Pretty cold in the first half with Scheibe, and that's going to be a foul on Williams. 50-30, 20-point lead for the Vikings. As Lodeholtz and Yates checks back in for the Vikings. Lyons comes out as well as Williams. Williams with his second foul. Yates comes up, picks up Bourne. There's now Lemons into the corner to Adam Albertini, drives the baseline, backside feed to Doherty, out to Pekka. Pekka into the rim, shot up, good, and he's fouled. Good move by Caleb Pekka, hard move into the rim. And the foul's going to be on Scheibe. Third team foul on the Vikings, third on Joel Scheibe. As Pekka lines up, tries to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. He's at the free throw line. On its way, long, no good. Yates with the rebound, steal by the Indians, and Albertini's going to be fouled by. They're going to be fouled by Yates. Albertini had Pekka on the breakaway, but couldn't get it. Yates had his hand tangled up, so that's going to be a foul on Yates. His second, team foul number 4 on the Vikings. The Vikings coach Houck calls out the defensive play for the Vikings. Lemons over to Adam Albertini. It's picked up out there by Scheibe. Now it's going to be a trap zone defense applied by the Vikings. 3-2 zone. Lemons, three-pointer from the left side, no good, way off, and tipped ahead of the game. And Lemons tried to tip it to himself, and Yates with the follow-up, and it ends up in the Vikings' hands, and the Yates score. Lemons almost tripped from behind. 4:50 left to go in the third. 52-32. Bounce pass inside to Pekka. He dribbles out of the trap. Now a long three-pointer by Bourne. Off the rim, no good. Rebound to Adam Albertini. Kicks it out to Lemons. Back to Bourne. Over to Lemons. To the corner to Albertini. Into Doherty. Doherty shot, no good. Gets his own rebound. Put back, no good. And he's tipping it around all over the place, and he can't get nothing to go as Yates comes out there with the rebound for the Vikings. Into the rim he goes. The layup good. And Houck with a timeout for the Vikings as Brendan Doherty with 3 or 4 opportunities under his own basket couldn't get it to go, so the frustration continues for the Indians. That's a full timeout by Parsons, so we'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Bless St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. That timeout brought to you by St. Paul's Supermarket. 4:18 left to go in the third. 54-32. 22-point lead for the Vikings. as the Indians ain't able to get things going here in the third quarter so far. A long ways to go in this one. See if they can heat up from the outside and get some stops on defense.
Yeah, their cold shooting woes continue here in the second half. Just can't get a basket.
St. Paul basketball as Parsons retreats into their 3-2 trap defense. Wogamon out top, the 6'5" junior. A lot of length out there top, so they sag back into the lane. Pekka to Bourne to Lemons. To Bourne, back to Lemons. Lemons covered by Scheibe out there now. Bourne, long three-point shot off the rim high, no good. Williams with the rebound. He splits the double team by the Indians. Now he loses it. Feeds it ahead to Caleb Pekka, and he loses it and feeds it back to Lodeholtz on the steal. That could have been a carry on Lodeholtz. No call, and that's a double. That's going to be a foul on Adam Albertini on the Indians. Oh, the Indians had an opportunity for a layup there, and too long a pass.
Yep.
Pekka couldn't chase it down. He had to try to throw it behind his back, threw it right to Lodeholtz. So the Indians just can't catch a break here. Williams with the basketball, guarded by Bourne. 3:33 left to go in the third. 54-32, 22-point lead. Joel Scheibe, shot from the free throw line, just inside it, converts. 24-point lead. Now Parsons sets up in the full court press. Bourne feeds it ahead to Albertini, and it's going to be slapped up in the air by Lodeholtz, and it's going to be a steal. Feed to Yates, or Lyons, and he converts. So another turnover off the press. Now this time Pekka just takes it right to the press, and it promptly throws it right to Williams. So another turnovers. Feed it ahead to Lodeholtz. Lodeholtz out to Lyons. Three-point shot from the baseline. Short, no good. Gets his own rebound into the rim, and he's going to be fouled. Doherty went for the block and sailed past Lyons, and that let Lyons get his own long rebound. It's going to be Parsons' ball under their own basket. They lead 58-32.
Got to be careful here now, not get too much, let frustration take over and still play smart.
I think the frustration is already there, Mike. 58-32, 26-point lead for the Vikings. Scheibe shot from the elbow, little floater, good. 28-point lead for the Vikings as they continue to press. Bourne kicks it out to Albertini. Albertini into the lane, floater in front of the rim, can't get it to go, so the woes continue. Now here there comes the Vikings. Lions layup, long, no good. Rebound, chased around and controlled by Caleb Pekka. He feeds it to Anthony Albertini, to Adam, now to Bourne. Bourne step back three-pointer, high arching, no good. Rebound Wogamont. He feeds it ahead to Scheibe for the Vikings. Back to Williams. Williams above the timeline, picked up out there by Bourne. Feeds it over to Lyons. He's guarded by Adam Albertini. Feed inside to Wogamont. Anthony, oh, that was a travel. Out to the Lodeholtz. Three-pointer top of the key, no good. Rebound Lyons. Put back, no good. Rebound at Anthony Albertini. He tries to feed it ahead, and it's going to be a foul on the Vikings somewhere. And that's going to be a foul on number 3, or no, 2-3. Not sure who.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep
St. Paul basketball. That foul was on number
3,
2.
Lions.
Yeah, number 3, the Lions. Coach Houck unhappy that there wasn't a foul call down there, and quite honestly, it looked like there was one on the Indians. 60-32, 28-point lead for the Vikings. Pekka set to put the ball in play against Bourne. Parsons, a very young team, too, just one senior, so they're going to be good again next year.
They'll be good for a while, that's for sure.
And Adam Albertini has the ball stripped away, but Pekka comes out there with it into Anthony Albertini. Layup no good. Rebound Yates for the Vikings. He streaks down the floor. No Indians back there. Now Albertini fouls him and he scores. So Yates will go to the line to try to complete the three-point play as they're up by 30 now. St. Paul's woes continue against these upper-class schools. They have not fared well against Galena Frontenac and now Parsons. And I don't know if it's the intimidation factor of going into a big school or what it is, but they have not fared well. A lot of times in that second half against those schools, whenever the other schools built a lead, the Indians has hung in there, so their shooting woes continue, and just too many turnovers against a good team.
Yeah, there's a lot of mistakes, and you just can't do that against a team like Parsons for sure.
31-point lead for Trevor Strathy. Checks back in for the Vikings. 31-point lead for the Vikings. So if that stays that way, it'll be a running clock here in the fourth quarter. Doherty, long three-pointer. He's been held just quiet. I don't think he's scored at all here in the second half. He had 4 in the first half. His frustration continues. You can see it.
Yeah, Doherty's 0 for 5 from outside three-point. That's usually his strong suit.
1 minute left to go here in the third. 63-32. Vikings lead. Johnson with the basketball for the Vikings. A lob inside. Shot on its way, no good. That shot put up that time by Rhodey, the senior, the lone senior. Now Strathy with the basketball at the top of the key. Man-to-man defense applied by the Indians. Under a minute left to go. Strathy with the basketball feeds it off to Pierce. Pierce bounce pass inside to Wogelmont, and he converts. 65-32, 33-point lead for the Vikings. All Vikings here in this game tonight. Haney back in the game, playing with 4 fouls, with 20 seconds left to go here in the third. Doherty above the timeline against Strathy. Couple behind the back dribbles. Now Adam Albertini, three-pointer from the side, no good, but Kenny Haney cleans it up on the weak side with the putback. Pierce, 3 seconds left. Now Strathy with a ball fake, three-pointer, good, as he gets it to go. So at the end of 3, 68-34, Vikings lead. Will be back after this 1 minute timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. Well, welcome back here. Start of the fourth quarter, 68-34. Vikings lead big, and we'll start with possession of the basketball. It's Williams, Lyons, Johnson, Yates, and Lodeholtz in the game for the Vikings. Easton Dent comes in the game first time for the Indians. Shot on its way, no good. Rebound Lodeholtz. He's into the lane. He feeds it to Lyons on the floater, no good. Rebound, 2 rebounds by the Vikings. The Indians cannot get their hands on that basketball. Lodeholtz with it at left wing, drives the baseline. And that's going to be on Haney. I think it's going to be on Pekka.
Is it?
It's going to be on Caleb Pekka, 15th foul on the Indians, first on Pekka. So that is the first foul on an Indian other than Haney for the game. In and out.
No, Albertini had a foul.
Oh, excuse me. Doherty with the basketball. Into the rim he goes, gets it poked out of his hands. Pekka comes out of there with it. Shot on the way by Haney, no good. Haney gets his own rebound, feeds it to Dent, back to Lemons. Lemon, long three-point shot, and he finally makes one, or the Indians finally make one, not necessarily him. Williams tries to feed ahead by Yates, a steal by the Indians. Pekka with the basketball, behind the back. He finally, that's going to be a foul on Lodeholtz, but no call. And a turnover, and here comes Williams on the breakaway, and there's a little floater half one-handed sort of dunk.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, sort of. but it's another 2 points for the Vikings. 70-37, 33-point lead for the Vikings. 6:17 left to go in the game. Pekka into the lane, and he converts. Johnson is 4 Vikings comes to the scores table for the Vikings. Lodeholt's left-handed layup, good move by him. He gets it to go. 5:55 left to go in the game. St. Paul is undoubtedly going to play the loser between Pierce City and Columbus as Easton Dent gets to score under the basket unless the Indians come out with a miraculous comeback here in the last 5 minutes of this game. Now Doherty gets it stripped out of his hands and stolen. Williams back to Yates, and his layup is good. Timeout by Parsons for subs. And we'll see what this is. 5:23 left to go in the game. 71-41. Vikings lead. And we're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout. Let's St. Paul basketball on Hot 105. That timeout was brought to you by St. Paul Supermarket. And out of that timeout, Easton Dent Kenny Haney gets a score for the Indians. 74-43, 4:49 left to go in the game. Parsons basketball under their own rim. Feed into Pierce. Shot no good. Haney with the rebound. Feeds it out to Lemons. Dent, Pekka, Lemons, Haney, and Doherty on the floor for the Indians. Caleb Pekka with the basketball. Feeds it out to Lemons. Shot from the elbow on the right side. Good. Caleb Lemons converts from the elbow. Here comes Pierce back down with the basketball for the Vikings. Feeds it inside to number 20, Rhodey, and it's knocked away, but the Vikings come out there with it. Bounce pass outside to Pierce. Ball's on the floor, and Vikings finally chase it down. Shot on its way short and no good. Rebound chased down by Caleb Pekka. Under 4 minutes left to go in the game. 74-45. Vikings lead out to Doherty. Doherty into the lane. Feeds it to Haney. Haney in traffic. Gets it knocked away. It's going to be a foul. And it's going to be the 16th foul on the Vikings. So it'll be Indians basketball under their own rim. As Grant Hutcherson, Chandler, Bradshaw, and Bravenborn all check in for Dent, Doherty, and Pekka. So the Indians will move over in the West Gym tomorrow night at 5:30, and they'll play the loser between Pierce City and Columbus, who play it directly after this. So Mike and I is going to have a challenge tomorrow as the Lady Indians play at 4 o'clock here in this gym.
We're going to have to hustle.
And they play the winner. Now three-pointer by Bourne, and he converts. The Lady Indians will play the winner between Parsons and Baxter Springs, who are playing the other gym next. So as soon as the Lady Indians are done here, Mike and I are going to have to try to pick up and move equipment to the other gym before the 5:30 game for the Indian boys, but we'll be able to get her done. As now all of a sudden the St. Paul boys decide to hit some threes, back-to-back threes. That one by Haney, 74-51. Strathy kicks it out to Rhodey. Now a bad pass, but Parsons stays with it. Strathy, three-point shot from the right side, no good. Haney with the rebound. Feeds it ahead to Bourne. Bourne, three-pointer from the left wing. In and out, no good. That was halfway down. Strathy with the rebound, feeds it back to Pierce. Ball's on the floor. Bradshaw had a chance at it. That's out. The shot on its way, no good. Kenny Haney with the rebound. That shot was taken by Pierce Thomas. Now Lemons at the right wing with the basketball. Tries to split the defender, and he's going to be fouled by Strathy, and that's going to send Lemons to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. 74-51. Vikings lead. And Lemons settles into the line for the front end of the 1-and-1. Just too many turnovers by the Indians tonight. And Grant Hutcherson fights for the rebound as Lemons misses it, and Haney chases it down. Haney with turnaround shot from the baseline, in and out, no good. Rebound Vikings. Rebound pulled down by Robinson. Now feed inside, stolen out of there by Bourne. Bourne chased from the outside, layup, no good. Haney with the rebound, put back good. Just over a minute to go, 74-53. Strathy with the basketball. Feed inside to Rohde. Shot by Rohde's good. Lemons comes back down with it for the Indians. 76-53, 23-point lead for the Vikings. Indians trailed at halftime by 12. Vikings come out hot in that third quarter. Indians too many turnovers against that good aggressive press by the Vikings. We knew after talking to Larry Pierce, who had watched the Parsons Vikings play Schneider, called the game against the Vikings. They was very athletic, and I know he talked to you about it too, Mike, at the breakfast with the coaches. They're very athletic and caused a lot of havoc with their press, and if they get on them runs with that press, if they get 2 or 3 steals in a row and get layups, they can outscore you 6-0, 8-0 in a hurry.
Yeah, and he was pretty accurate on that. That's what we've seen today.
St. Paul's offense, half-court offense, is competitive with them, but just too many turnovers off against that press as the clock winds down here. 76-54, 22-point lead for Parsons. 10 seconds left to go in the game. Stick around for our KW Trucking postgame show and our Derailed Commodity Player of the Game, as the final score is going to be Parsons 76, St. Paul 54. We'll be back with our KW Trucking postgame show after this 2-minute timeout. This is St. Paul basketball on Hot 105.
Thanks for joining us here on the live stream on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and shut that down now and finish up our post game on the air. And
make sure you join us tomorrow night at 4 o'clock, as the girls will play at 4 o'clock in the gym here on this gym, and the boys will play in the West Gym directly after that. So thanks everybody for watching.